excited about today is bringing you a little something different than you're probably used to. You know, a lot of people share success stories, but how many people actually share failures? Michelle, do you like hearing success stories? I do.
I do.
But
yeah.
I like hearing mistakes too.
I do. Especially, I love hearing mistakes from people that have made it really big because you could say to yourself, if they could do it and get there and still make these mistakes that I'm making right now, like it could still happen for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so about a year ago, or let's see, March 8th, we released a book called Don't Be That Guy in Network Marketing. And if you're not familiar with the phrase that guy means it's the person everybody loves to hate and never wants to become.
Ooh,
it's like, hey, come on, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that invites me over for dinner and I walk into a presentation. And there's 21 common mistakes that we've identified. There's probably more than that. And we've all made them. And it's important that we educate the field on what not to do. And so I don't want to waste any time. I want to bring on our special guest. This is a man who has proven success, a proven track record. And not only just in his own success, but let me just tell you this. There's over 46 documented millionaires that look to this man as their personal mentor.
Wow.
And so I'm going to bring him on the line, and then I'm going to give him a more proper introduction. So let's just get technology working here. So Mr. Robert Hollis, you're going to see a pop-up, and we will see you here on camera real shortly.
There we go.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you, Robert? How are you and Terry doing today?
We are blessed and highly favored and very loved.
Very loved. Awesome, man. Well, we're so grateful to have you on today, and we're grateful to be able to call you a friend and a coach, and we're excited to hear. I'm ready to laugh, because I didn't go to the gym this morning, and I hear that laughing burns calories. So
No doubt.
Yeah, so we went to a pumpkin patch today with our daughter and her school, and we had fun there, and so had to skip the gym, but I knew we were going to have Robert Hollis live, so we're going to get a little workout, we're going to laugh, we're going to learn, and are you at home today?
Yes, I am.
And home is where?
Home is in Laurel, Montana. We actually live in Yellowstone County.
Wow.
It's 20 minutes away from the northern entrance to the Yellowstone National Park.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That must be amazing.
Beautiful. Well, let me just share. I'm pretty sure most of those that are watching live or on the replay know who you are. And I knew who you were, but it was just getting on your website at lifemechanic.com. I got to learn a little bit more. And I just love, you're an author, you're a speaker, you're a trainer, you've put together an online university platform, and you have a pretty ambitious goal, and I know you'll hit it. Is it 1 million students that you're shooting for?
Wow.
Yeah, we just went over, 2,800 students that we have now. So
nice.
I'm working on my legacy now as a grandpa.
Yeah, there you go.
Congratulations.
I just love helping people and getting them focused on what God's called them to do. So it's pretty cool passion.
Now, I don't want to get the number wrong. How many years have you been in the network marketing profession?
28 years.
28 years, and I believe over 50 million in earnings.
Yeah, went over 52 last year, I think.
But who's counting? Who's counting, right?
When you get that far, you just kind of lose count, right?
Come on. When you get like 52, 53, whatever, you just kind of stop counting. But
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So do you think it works? Does this thing work?
No doubt. Yeah. If you follow the right people, documented people that know how to help other people succeed and do what they do, you'll get what they got.
Yeah.
And it's sort of amazing to me that if someone wanted to be a martial artist and say they picked a style like Taekwondo, if you learn from someone that built other Taekwondo black belts, then you pretty much can become a black belt if you do what you're told.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And people look at network marketing or any kind of marketing or entrepreneurship as something that's difficult.
Yeah.
It is, especially if you don't listen to someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I've said in meetings before that if you had a toothache, you wouldn't have your mechanic diagnose that, right?
Right.
So
plus, if you had a toothache, you'd be smart enough to go to a dentist and pay him to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably heard that from you and stole it and didn't give you credit. But. So, Michelle, let's talk about what we're doing. You you go ahead and tee it up for Robert, and we'll sit back and hang out.
Yeah, so this is going to be super fun because, Robert, as you know, when we all get into something such as network marketing and it's brand new, we tend to, maybe fall off the bike once in a while, have some scrapes and burns and mistakes. And we just love hearing about people that have made it as big as you. We just love to hear about your mistakes that you've made and the lessons you learned and how you turned that time of just like, falling off the bike over and over again, and how you turned it into becoming a massive success and now focusing on your legacy in network marketing. So.
And we want to feel better about ourselves. So.
Absolutely. And one of the things is that, I heard this impact, and I think that maybe I even heard this from Adam, but I love this whole concept where, if you want to inspire people and motivate them, tell them about your success stories. If you want to impact them and influence them forever, tell them about your failure.
That's right.
Good. John Maxwell actually got that from me.
I remember, Adam, that you told me that. I love it, man. I wrote it down right away.
That's so good.
And one of the things is when I first got involved in network marketing, I didn't even know what network marketing was. And I say this statement, it's sometimes pretty controversial depending on who you listen to. But I really, really, truly believe that, we're all about finding the right people at the right time in their life. And I tell people to this day, I don't care how good you are. Even if you were a guy like Jeff Roberti that's made $80 million in commissions, which was my upline in my first company, is if you would approach me a month before I got injured on workman's comp and thought that I was on track to be a crew chief, and I had my goals, and I was making more than anybody around me, which wasn't a month, but a lot. But I still surrounded myself by people that I made more money than, so that made me look pretty big, And so the hilarious thing is that if you would have came to me instead, Robert, listen, are you interested in making extra income or whatever kind of line you use? I would not be a person that would be recruitable. No way. I'm driven. I love what I did. I was focused. So all of a sudden getting hurt, losing my income for 9 months, all of a sudden having my car chased by the repo man, auctioning off my toolbox to stay alive, I became more open-minded. And it was like, I love always saying this line that a friend of mine that I didn't know really well, he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, Robert, have you heard of Amway?" And I said, "No." And he says, "Well, it's not Amway and it's legal." So I don't know where this script is written, but I think he messed it up. I said, "Sean, what are you talking about?" And then he did it from his heart instead of his head.
Yeah, that's good.
And this guy named Bill, I seen his check. It was $62,000. It was attached to the stub.
Wow.
And he said that he's expanding a company in the LA area, and you don't have to have any experience, and he'll teach people how to do what he's doing. And I said, "I'll pick you up. I want to meet him."
Yeah.
So he went from his brain and messed it up, and then he came from his heart and it clicked. Well, when I met my mentor, Bill Gould, that I write about in my book, I met him at a presentation, but then he moved back to San Diego. He lived there. And I was in the San Fernando Valley, Chatsworth, California. And, that's quite a ways away. And the people that were my upline were clueless. I don't know if you know Big Al Schroeder, but he always has a newsletter that comes out, My Worthless Sponsor. I think that my sponsor was more worthless than that. And I wanted so much to be successful that I was willing to do anything they told me to do. But everything they told me how to do didn't get results because they were making us stuff up. I mean, I can remember the first thing that they told me to do is that you can get people to put their names as leads into a box. So all you need to do is I went to a cake box store, bought these pink boxes, and cut slits in them, and that had a little thing where you can put your name and stuff to put it in a drawing. And the company was giving away a trip to Las Vegas if you would just try out their water filter system. And so I sat on the floor with a cast on my leg, cut all these boxes, put these pencils that you use for scoring golf, and tied a string to it, and went to all these 7-Elevens and liquor stores and whatever to put these boxes in, to get these leads, to call them up, to try to set an appointment to put a water filter in their house for 30 days. And I'm like, man, I don't know how people are making money doing this. It's like, no one was buying from me. I did everything that I was told. I had these buttons. I think I told Adam, let me grab it. And so the other thing a guy was, and he was a #1 Britannica encyclopedia. So I'm a mechanic. I'm introverted. I won't talk to anybody. I had 3 friends, and they were mechanics. You know what I mean? So he says, wear this button. And he said, so when you wear this button and people look at it, you're going to find people that are not introverted that are going to go, are you what? And you could say, are you open to make money? Are you, what? Are you single? I don't know. But this button is supposed to help me be outgoing.
That's the secret right there.
But when I wore this button, no one ever came to my house to knock on the door to ask me what I was doing. And so it doesn't make a difference if you wear the button when people go, okay, are you what? I'd go, I'm sorry. I don't have nothing, right? And it's like, I was so close to giving up. I did everything the way they told me to. Nothing was working. I mean, nothing was working. And I was doing everything I was told to do. And finally, my upline did something really funny. He said, well, we're having a national convention at the Westin Hotel, downtown LA. I didn't even have money for parking.
Wow.
And so I had to go there early to find a place to park because I couldn't even pay for parking there. And so I went in, and he said to me, if you don't go to this event, I'm not working with you ever again. And I said, I don't want to go. I don't have the money to go. I don't want to go. So I went, and every person that walked across the stage, I was more upset. They were walking across the stage. I got a new car. I traveled to here. I bought my mom a house. And I'm going, okay, so now I know that these people can do it, and I'm clueless, and I can't figure this out. I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Maybe I even did the thing where, maybe I wasn't set out to do this. Maybe this is not my calling. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I mean, it was awful. And finally, this guy walked across the stage, and I love this was what I call a significant emotional event. And this guy walks up, and he has broken English. He was from the Middle East. And he said, hi, my name is Ahmad Had, and I've been in country now 6 months by second Mercedes, getting new home. I love this country. I was like, I just want to beat the crap out of him. And so I wait for him to get off stage, right? And I was respectful, and everyone was shaking his hand, his downline, and other people, his upline. And then I walked up to him, and I said, congratulations. He said, thank you. And I said, listen, how do you do this? And he goes, I have broken English. I said, yeah. And he said, so I walk up to people, say, you want to make money? Yes, no.
Yes, no.
And when they look at me and go, what is this? He goes, you answer my question first. You want to make money? Yes, no.
Oh my God.
And if they said yes, I would say, you got to meet Money Man. His name, Bill.
Money Man.
You get in front of Bill. Bill tell you everything. I just find people want to make money. You want to make money? Yes, yes, yeah. I introduce you to Money Man Bill. And I went, it was like God hit me in the forehead with a bat. Because I realized how complicated I was making this.
Yeah.
I was trying to be the deal. I was trying to figure it out. I knew everything about the product. I knew everything about the comp plan. I knew everything about everything other than making money. And so he asked me, well, who's your upline? And I told him, and he didn't know the name. And then he says, who's above that? And I told him, and he didn't know the name. I went all the way up 7 generations. And he goes, oh, that's Bill. That's Sherry and Bill. They live in San Diego. And I said, yeah, that's where he's from. And he goes, you call company on Monday. You ask them to tell Bill get a hold of you. He wants to work with you. And I go, why would he want to work with me? And he goes, because you have desire and are willing to learn.
Wow.
Wow. And I said, okay. So I called, and then Bill called me, and he said, you got to come down to San Diego. I didn't have any money. And he said, my training's $350. And I was like, okay, I have no money. And he's like, okay, so that's a problem that you brought upon yourself because of decisions you made in the past. What does that have to do with your decisions in the future?
Wow.
And I go, excuse me? And he goes, if I wanted to be an auto mechanic, I'd have to learn from another auto mechanic or go to trade school, right? I went, yeah. And he goes, you need to learn how to market.
Yeah.
And I went, okay. So I borrowed the money from some friends, went down there and stayed in my car. And everything he taught me was stuff that I've never heard before. And I had been in the company for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And thank God, I mean it, I say it all day, every day, that this convention happened within my first 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because I would have just continued to do the same stuff that these people told me. And I never was smart enough to ask these people that were teaching me, can I see your back office? Can I see, your last 3 months of income? Can you tell me one person that you've actually taught how to leave their job? Just one. See, I didn't even know to answer those questions. So anyway, I then learned from Bill, did what Bill told me to do. And my first 45 days working with Bill, I made over $10,000.
Wow.
Made $258,000 my first year.
Wow.
Second year, $520,000. Made $1 million before I was 30 years old. So when you learn from people that know what they're doing, it's amazing. Not only how fun it is, but how simple and easy it is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so,
good. Man, I'm telling you that and through my life, the other little pitfalls have always been where, that I just didn't realize that sometimes companies make stupid decisions. I tell people I love network marketing. Why wouldn't I? But sometimes network marketing owners make stupid decisions. And when they make stupid decisions, they forgot where they came from. Some might be based under greed. Some might be based under something. But when you start seeing the top leadership of any company either not being active or sort of stepping away, you got to wonder, why is the company losing momentum? So 7 times I've built groups of over 500,000 people. The last group was 758,000 in 11 countries. And the owners of the company sometimes make decisions that end up shaking the foundation or the belief in the company. And then when that happens, I tell people, they go, well, how many companies you been in? I've been in, I think, 16 companies, 16 or 17 companies. And people go, oh my God, that's awful. And I go, well, they never said that when I went from job to job to job to job. It's like, why did you leave that job? This company paid me more. All right, see ya, bye. It's like, I'm loyal to God, my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God's first, family second, business is third. So if people are not going to be loyal to me, I'm not going to be loyal to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Man, I'm glad that you brought that up, Michelle, because even in my recent transition of going from, the MLM world to the life coaching world, guess what? Got to start all over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Totally over. I'm looking at the realm of what Tony Robbins is doing and some of these people are doing, where they're impacting and making these people's lives. And guess what? I teach people to make money. Now I'm in the realm where you alter and transform a person's life forever. And you got to, so going into a new company, doing everything, you got to take that uncomfortable place and get back in it. And it's like taking what is called a class 2 experience and making it a class 1 experience.
Mm-hmm.
A class 2 experience is when all of a sudden it's not fun, you're not comfortable, but darn it, if you learn how to do your job, you can learn to do this. It's not comfortable at the beginning, but it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, Robert, what do you think is probably the number one mistake you're seeing right now in network marketing? Would you say it has anything to do with the social media online stuff, or?
Really good at them. What I would say is the number one mistake that I see people doing is using old school techniques in a new school world.
Wow, that's really good.
That's if we use this in any other thing in life, we would be ridiculed. So all of a sudden, Michelle, something happens with your child. and people go, wow, you should take her to the clinic. You know, you should. And it's no, we'll just give them Robitussin and put them to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't ever remember going to the hospital or the clinic when I was a child.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, you maybe in a broken arm situation.
You just put some tussin on it.
Yeah, you put Robitussin on that too, and it's like it's just amazing to me that that people are so slow to adapt. They're just so slow to adapt, and you know, and here's the problem. My mentor had this great saying: "Is the worst kind of success in the world is a little."
Yeah.
Because once you do something that gets results, you think you figured it out, and so now you work harder doing something that's really not duplicatable. And now you're upset because it's not working.
Right.
So it's like, so in this day and age, it's really amazing too. The one thing is I see, and people get mad when I say this, but it's documented. But scientists have just proven that now human beings have a smaller attention span than a goldfish. We have an 8-second attention span. So while people are watching this, yes, I caught you. You know, we're doing this. We're doing this interview, but you're also responding on your text. You're also responding to your Snapchat, your Instagram. You're also looking at other comments that are made on Facebook while we're giving you $1 million information. You're just a human being, you know. So we get this attention span of 8 seconds, but now people are still saying, "Hey, Adam and Michelle, I got this incredible opportunity. Can you check out my hour video?"
Yeah.
I can't even make it through a 20-minute reality show on, you know, going through the commercials.
Yeah.
I gotta DVR it and make.
It's true.
And if you guys don't think that people have 8-second attention spans, I'll show you. Have you seen where you used to scan through channels and you had it figured out between 3 to 5 commercials?
Yeah.
And now what they'll do is they'll throw just a video, just a part of the video of the show you're watching. And they go, "Hey, Adam and Michelle, wasn't that cool?" And then they go to a commercial. So while you're scanning, you stop, and it wasn't really the program starting yet. It was just a sneak peek. So you have to end up watching the commercial that paid the most money right after that quick little trailer.
We're not at documented 53 million yet, so TV, we don't have time for TV. We don't watch TV.
Yeah, we don't know how things go nowadays.
TVs are a waste of time.
But that's really good.
My wife. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, you know, just even with the live presentations, how they'll go, you know, an hour and a half long, and it's like, man, like it gives us no time to like confer with the guests, and you know, so we have actually wrote about that in the Time Stealer, you know, and just like being long-winded.
Yeah.
And so it's so true. I'm glad that you bring that up.
Well, they used to call it a briefing, and I guess that's because a longing was not available.
That's good. Well, if you have, maybe I love the cake box. I can just picture you with a cast on your leg and doing these cake boxes, and I wish there was like a picture of that. That would be phenomenal.
Oh,
but do you have any other memories like that where people are going, "Oh my gosh, he did that really, and he made it"? Like, it's so encouraging to hear these. We were just in Atlanta for the John Maxwell event, and there was for the 15 Invaluable Laws of Network Marketing, and I remember listening to one of the 7-figure earners on stage talk about they were putting out all these flyers at the mall on windshields, and then they got a call from security saying, you're gonna get charged $500 a fine per flyer unless you come pick these up. And it's just like, we've all tried it. We did flyers. We did on the doors.
$100 drop cards.
We did signs on the corner, staking them. I mean, we've tried it all, and none of that stuff works. You know, but we had to find out for ourselves.
One that was really, really funny for me is, of course, you know, I get to be one of those people because I'm 54, where I get to tell you that, you know, I walked in the snow waist deep, you know, both ways to school. Well, you know, back then they were just saying, you know, the whole concept was say as little as possible to as many people as you can, as fast as you can. So a professional sorts, amateurs try to convince and sale.
Yeah.
So you need to be a sorter to find those that have ears to hear. So, you know, some good scriptural stuff there. So, you know, just go flip till you find someone that's interested. So to show you that I'm not that smart, my mentor said to me, "Listen, Robert, you got to go out where there's a lot of people." So I would drive 2.5 hours in rush hour traffic to go from San Fernando Valley that only has like 4 million people. And I would drive downtown LA around the first interstate building that, where there was a lot of people. And so I tell people what I did is I got my really quick elevator pitch down because, when you go to a crosswalk, you got the red hand and the white man. I'm not being racial here, but, it's like, so it's a stop. Well, I would look at somebody and say, hi, do you work around here? Was my icebreaker. And they would say, yeah, I work in the first interstate building. Well, it's funny because I kept going around the first interstate building. And I would always do it between 11:30 and 1:30. And so I would look at them, they go, oh, I work in the first interstate building. And I said, well, listen, I'm a recruiter for a company, and I was wondering if you knew of anyone right now that would be interested in, making extra income. I'm helping a company expand in the area. And they go, well, what is this? And I go, why, are you interested? And they go, well, it depends on what it is. And then I would open up my spiral notebook, get their name and number, and schedule a time to talk to them later, right?
Good.
And I told people that, I got a cast on my leg. And what I'm doing is, I'm wore out walking around. And I tell people that, my best days, I was getting anywhere between 65 and 70 names a day.
Wow.
I would go out, get the names, and then go back and schedule those people. And people will get a laugh out of this. Wherever they live, I would tell them that I lived, and not being, not lying, right? But let's say they lived in LA and they were 2.5 hours. I would say to them, do you know where Simi Valley is? Or do you know where Westlake is? And they go, oh, yeah, that's out in Ventura County. And I'd say, well, listen, there's a Denny's restaurant on Sherman Oaks and on Ventura Boulevard, and I'll meet you there. And so it was halfway between us, but it was like a block away from my house. So I would tell them that we'd meet in the middle, and it's like, but no, I just told them if they knew, I didn't say I lived in Ventura. So I would do one-on-one presentations there, and so I would get all these things. So it was one time where I remember I was just really exhausted going around this building, right? And then all of a sudden I realized that if I just allowed people to go across the intersection and just stand there, that a whole new group would show up. I didn't have to walk around the park.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
And so I think back, there was just a lady that reached out to us that I knew, Kitty Stewart, and I have pictures of my leadership meetings at Denny restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
But listen, that stuff didn't work. See, that's me doing, how many one-on-ones can you do?
Yeah.
It's like today, and in the last 3 or 4 years, I'm enrolling people in a company that paid, anywhere from $250 to $125, just the entry position, of anywhere between 500 to 600 people enrolls a day.
Wow.
How could I do that one-on-ones in Denny's restaurant?
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
That's a lot of
It's
grand
like,
slams.
Yeah. So, I'm really excited, Adam, because you were talking about, you and Michelle now getting a chance to build globally.
Yeah.
And when you think about building globally, that immediately opens up your mind. I tell people now, when I first started teaching online stuff, is I said, there's one problem that we have. And they go, what is that? And I said, you live in California. The company does not market in California. You cannot sell any product in California, and you cannot recruit any people in California. And they're going, really? And I said, yeah, I need you to think that way. I need you to think that way. Because if you learned how to be able to use social media and peak of interest and building rapport so people know, like, and trust you, and you also give through reciprocity, what you give is what you get. Mm-hmm. So if you build that relationship and give reciprocity, then people will want to know what you're doing. How could you recruit someone in Texas? How could you recruit somebody in Alaska? How could you recruit somebody in the Philippines? How can you recruit people in Peru? How can you recruit people in Asia? How can you recruit people in Norway? You better learn that skill if you're going to build an international business.
Right. Yeah. That's good.
And the old school is what, Adam? It's like, well, I got to fly there and I got to meet somebody and I got to do one-on-ones in a home meeting.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't want you in your house. I could never do it old school because my wife didn't like strangers in our house.
Yeah.
She was raising her little kids, say, I don't care what you do, meeting, just don't bring anybody home. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's worked for you, and I've got one final question for you that I like to ask leaders.
Sure.
I love asking people on planes. It's my favorite. There we go.
Woo!
There we go, baby. That book will change your life right there. But one thing I didn't mention at the beginning, I apologize. I had it on my on my agenda, which was to make sure that they go to your website at lifemechanic.com because they can actually download your book for free, which is called "How's That Working?" And I need to get the paper copy. I'm a paper guy. I like to highlight, underline, fold pages. I like to rough it up a little bit. But the question I want to ask you, Robert, is if you were watching this webinar or this live stream or this video 28 years ago when you were just getting started, but you got to watch your future rock star self as of today, what advice would you give yourself 28 years ago? I want both personally and professionally.
On a personal level, I would say really, really work on your connection with your creator.
Come on.
That's good.
Yeah. They're not separate. Your whole entire life has to do with your connection with your creator. It's got to be in every part of who you are, what you are, and how you are. If you come from a place of integrity, if you come from a place where you know that there's only one of you, only one of you, there's never been one of you before you or after you.
Yeah.
So if you're an incredible creation, then you need to start living that lifestyle.
Good.
And it needs to start right now. Stop being like everybody else. Learn to be you. Learn to fall in love with you.
That's
so
really
that would
good.
be the personal side. Still working on that. Always will be working on that. But when I know that I'm me and I was created to do great things and be great, to lead my family and be an example to others, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
Yeah.
When I come from that place, all things are possible.
I love it,
so
man.
that's on the personal aspect.
Yeah, it's good.
And that's including, consistently asking for help. I heard something the other day that might be controversial, but it's like praying is when you're talking to your creator, meditating is when you're listening to your creator. I love that. I just got chills as I said it. And so very, very, very important. If you don't believe in a higher power, if you don't believe in a creation, I'd be asking yourself really simply, is how's that working for you? Okay. Anyway, it's like, find people that you can lean on. On a professional basis, I would say think bigger, faster. I look at my entire life and the lifestyle that I've lived is far, far, far bigger than I could ever imagine. I mean, the homes that Terry and I have lived in, the vacations that we've taken, the money that we've been able to give to charity, everything's so far bigger than I ever imagined. And the reason I only accomplished what I did is because I was thinking too small. I was just thinking too small. What if I could make, just $5,000 a month? What if I could just, get to $10,000 a month? What if I could live in that beautiful home in the area I always wanted one day? I look at everything I achieved now, and the only thing that held me back from making everything happen faster and being 10 times bigger than I am was me. It sure wasn't my abilities. It sure wasn't technology. It sure wasn't my creator, God, not want me to help more people and impact more people.
Yeah.
Come on. I turn around and I help people believe in who they are, who they were created to be, and then I give them the knowledge and the wisdom that they need to make that happen. I'm in a position right now in my life where I need to contact and influence and impact people faster. So, that was the two.
That's going to help a lot of people, Robert. Something that I heard John Maxwell, who's who's a hero of mine. I heard him say this one time. I think it was on one of his Minute with Maxwell's, and he was talking about money, and some people just have, some people need some reprogramming. They need to renew their mind of how they look at money. And he said money does two things. It gives you options, and it allows you to help people more so than if you didn't have it. And all it really does is magnify who you already are. If you're a generous person, you're going to be more generous,
Yeah.
And if you're evil, then you're going to be more evil with it, And I love what our profession can offer in the form of contribution, because you can't take it with us.
Yeah.
But we can send it before us, Yeah. So, man, we really appreciate you and just being, transparent. I love your heart. I love
your laugh.
Yeah, I commented on one of your videos one day. I don't know if you saw it. I said we need to make that laugh a ringtone. Like, you'd be sitting at Starbucks and people would be like, "What was that?"
Is Robert here?
Yeah. So
God is great, and He's been so wonderful in my life. And when you're doing the right things, your paths cross with the right people. And so, Adam and Michelle, I know this is just the beginning of our relationship, and where I can, guide and help you to help more people that see this video. If you guys don't personally know these two, you have to. If you're watching this video, it wasn't by accident. You need to reach out to them and really share with them. And I got one last closing thing as far as a failure. See, sometimes we get ourselves in our own way. So Adam not only sent me his book, but turned around and autographed it for me. And so when I got this book, he said, "Robert, why don't you look at this book?" And for people that don't know this, I'm dyslexic. You know what I mean? So I can't read the bad stuff you write about me, so don't bother. And I say, he wrote, "Don't be that guy." And so what I did is I sent Adam a video of me speaking at Eric Worre's event. Been blessed to be a speaker that closed out GoPro.
Wow.
And I said, I am that guy. So when I was living in Newport Coast, and I'm not bragging, but, we get to look down on Kobe Bryant's house where we used to live. And I would go to these people, and all these millionaires and billionaires are there, and they go, "What do you do?" And I said, "Have you ever heard about those pyramid companies?" And they go, "Yeah." And I said, "You heard the guy at the top makes all the money?" And they go, "Yeah, I have." I go, "I'm that guy." And so because I didn't read his book, I now understood what the book did. But to think that, I said, "Well, listen, I am that guy, and you're telling people not to be that guy." That was me drawing a conclusion to what I thought the book was about, which was wrong. And I apologize to you guys. So
I hope it's been a good coaster for you.
Yeah. But I knew where it was when we did this show. And so even though it takes me difficult, I guess I can challenge Adam and Michelle and get it on audio.
We're working on it.
If you don't know someone that will do an audio, I know someone that will do it very inexpensive for you. She did mine. But get it on audio because it will help more people. Because they just mentally got that hang up that I don't read. They shouldn't say that, but they do. So that's how fast, if you guys are watching and you really think that that what Adam and Michelle and I do, if you think that then if you don't have 7 figures in the bank in your savings account, then you don't have a clue what the hell we do. So reach out and learn from people that know how to do that. Again, money only makes you more of who you are. So
that's good.
Adam and Michelle, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was fun. Just remind where can they find you if they want to follow you on Facebook or social media, your website?
Just go to lifemechanic.com. Used to be an auto mechanic. Now I'm a life mechanic, so I give people a tune-up from the neck up.
There you go.
If you got a car that you want to handle better, you got a car that wants to be faster and quicker, you hire someone that can do that. If your life is not where you want it to be, I can help you get there. There's not a doubt in my mind.
That's good stuff. Well, hey, God bless you, man. Thanks for being on, and I look forward to seeing the feedback from the comments and the shares and people tagging their team. Get this message out there so we can eliminate that guy and we can elevate our profession as a whole. So we'll be in touch. Have a great day.
Adios.
God bless, and I appreciate you guys.
Who's Rod?
Rod.
There's 2 people in there with Rod.
Hey, Robert, thanks for the invitation to this webinar.
Oh. would probably